start recording that one. Video video. So now, welcome back to the channel. I am Albert Nyakundi. Now, Lynn Ngugi happens to be one in a very murky media environment. She's a former mainstream media operator, but then she opened her own thing very successfully, doing stories that I think are very important. One of the things that I've been following quite closely was this affordable housing thing. I remember there was I can't remember the minister. Let's just check real quick. This guy who said that people should leave their land and what for to come to the city for affordable housing. Let me see. Affordable housing. Let's see, nonsense. so just quickly before we get to Lynn Ngugi. Lynn, where's that thing? Yes. Now, this is affordable housing Kenya. Okay, Otozi, affordable housing built on land. Where is that? There is a certain, I can't remember who the minister was. I remember, I'll just leave this thing over here, you'll see it. You're saying something to the effect that people should leave their properties to the government to manage or do whatever it is. It was actually quite condescending, and it could feel like it's just your politician just talking nonsense the way they normally do, but it's not so much so, and that's why this video is here. So let's listen into what Lynn Ngugi has to say, because she's done quite a bit of work on this. I will leave all the details of this if you just want to go watch the whole thing, if. But let's listen to what the investigations she's done. This is also something I have my own opinion about, but also I think we are drawing information from the same pool, if you know what I mean.
Guys, have you noticed how this whole affordable housing thing is being pushed on Kenyans? The president is at construction sites almost every other week, talking about new blocks that are coming up. Now, even people like Oparanya are telling you to leave your rural home, forget where...
That's, okay, she's brought it, I don't know. Okay, wonderful. Come and live in the affordable housing and leave the farms back home. And if you miss your late parents, have a child and name them after your... Oh my goodness. I remember it. What? These guys, they've gotten to a level where they really don't care what you think. And I think that has been cultivated by us. They can do the worst things, but there's no repercussions. They always voted back in. We have a problem. Let me continue. I remember this thing touched me.
Your ancestors are buried and move into these government houses. Actually, let's take a look at what he had to say. This is him, right? Let's listen in.
Sasa mjue ya kwamba haya manyumba ni yenu. Msifikirie haya manyumba ni ya watu wa Nairobi. Hii ni affordable housing ambayo nyinyi mnaweza kujipanga na kununua hizi nyumba kwa bei ile ya chini, unalipa polepole. Tunataka nyinyi muje muishi kwa hizi manyumba. Mwaje yale mashamba kule nyumbani, tupande mimea ya kusaidia watu wetu. Usilie kaburi hii ni ya mama, kaburi hii ni ya baba, wewe saa mtoto.
Guys have cultivated monsters. The audacity. I'm actually quite impressed by the audacity. They're like, what did these guys do? What will we do? What will the Kenyans do? Oh, wow. Oparanya. Hey, this guy is the full buffoon. Fisi. Hey. What the hell?
Uite mama yako, uite baba yako, ndio mkumbuke hapo. Hapana mpaka uwe unakaa hapo, unaona kaburi yake ndio unamkumbuka. Kwa hivyo Kenya inaendelea mbele, na rais ameona mbele, kuona ya kwamba nchi kuendelea mbele.
Kuendelea, he said that like 3 times. It's just there are no details to it how to endelea mbele, tapanda mimea ya kusaidia watu. This is the most disturbing thing about this, is that there are some people who actually fall for these things. Although this one, I suspect, might be a harder sell than this guy would like to think. I think there will be a lot of arm twisting that will be involved for this. If they really want to push it through, there's going to be some pain. Please forgive me, there's construction light right outside. I have to record.
Paka uanze na hatua moja.
I think for me, what would have been fun to see would be Oparanya also telling guys, hata mimi nilitoka kwa shamba yangu, nikaacha kaburi ya mama na baba yangu, nikapata watoto na nimehamia hizi affordable housing. I think that would actually have been fun to see him walking the talk. You know, that is him. And you guys, you see where the conversation is going? There's just too much focus and urgency around this. Almost like it's something bigger than we are being told, right? And yes, you are not wrong. It is bigger than it looks. Kenya's affordable housing program is not just a local government project. It's part of a much wider global plan. And today, I want us to connect the dots globally. This whole affordable housing connects directly to the World Bank, international lenders, and then ongoing push to formalize how Africans live, borrow, and own property.
This is not just Africa. This is I've seen this in Europe. I remember somewhere in Netherlands there was a story about the farmers. They wanted the farmers to sell off their land or they live for the government. It's the exact same thing. The farmers revolted. I remember there was so much. There was even a time they went and poured feces and cow dung. Is it outside Parliament or something? So there's a big revolt. I don't know what exactly is the situation at the moment, but these guys are relentless. So if you think you're just going to sit around and chill, my friend, you'll be in for a very rude shock.
Tuko pamoja
So
until
this
hapo.
is partly why I do these other videos. The other stuff is also there, but that's why I changed the channel's name, so that I can talk about everything that I think it's important, like this. For the people coming up who want to buy property, to invest. You see all these international people, the huge conglomerates that invest in real estate, they want to control as much as possible. It's an instinct that too many of us have, and how to control and who gets hurt. Now that's where everything goes to hell. So in this particular case, it feels it's a lot more predatory, but also because a lot of people don't use their land in such a way that it makes the most profit, because we are not profit minded, which we should be. Unfortunately, many people think, no, if you don't want to make profit, everybody else will run things for you, and they'll do whatever they want to do with you. So you must become part of you must engage. If it's real estate and all these people building, I know like a lot of our real estate is actually not so legit in terms of where the money comes from. If it's not these international people, it's the wash people, and the wash comes from tenders and government, all that government procurement process where a lot of money gets stolen from. That's where people hide it. So there's a lot of empty homes, expensive empty homes that are just empty, because the economy is not big enough because it's a fabricated economy, that economy of wash and illegality. There's very few people who have the money, and they've just put products out there to an economy that's not grown commensurate to afford those things. So you're seeing car ads are full. Anyway, as I digress.
In simple terms, it's about bringing African housing systems into the global financial structure,
Yes.
where homes are treated not just as places we live, but as part of an investment network that benefits big institutions as much as, or even more than, the people themselves. Let's go back to 2019. The World Bank gave Kenya a loan of
You see, that's just the fact of it. And if we don't take control of that, that's what will happen, because it's not gonna stop. Africa is going to continue to grow, and we have the most room to grow because we are so diminished. So if somebody wants to jump in early, build economies, and do the whatever they need to do, they're gonna do that, and they'll cut as many corners as they can, because our systems don't work. Because our politicians can be bought for 2 bob. They can't even get, you can't even tell them, no, I want 30,000 jobs for Kenyans here in Kenya, in this manufacturing plant or this. They can't do that. Such myopic people.
about 25 billion shillings, thereabout, to support what they called the Affordable Housing Finance Project. The idea sounded very good. Help
did
ordinary
everything.
Kenyans, especially those earning average or low salaries, to get decent homes. That is a beautiful idea. But that money did not also come freely. And understand, this is a loan that we have to pay.
Yeah, like by now, any grown-up knows there's nothing free. Even as you invite NGOs here and their funding, it's not for free. There's a lot of control you're ceding to people. You'll never be able to learn to do anything. At the same time, you'll never be able to be rid of these people, because people become dependent on them. You saw how things went when USAID was closed. So many, you're saying, oh, this is going to stop. Oh, guys are moving on. You see that you have to hurt a bit to realize, oh my goodness, I've been sleeping on this. So you cover your bases. But here, it's all smoke and mirrors.
This
as
loan
you
also
say.
came with conditions and
Of
a
course.
plan on how it's going to be used.
As every loan.
Part of that plan was to create the Kenya Mortgage Refinance Company, which was supposed to make it easier for banks to give long-term home loans, It was also tied to the government's Big Four agenda, where housing was one of the main priorities, still is. Over time, though, that forecast has changed. Instead of just helping Kenyans get homes, the project started being seen as a business opportunity, something that banks...
Let's be real. It was a business opportunity from the beginning. You see, the loans have been given with stipulations and interest and whatnot. That's a business already. But because also these organizations, they're taking advantage of the fact that people are so corrupt and mediocre where they're giving loans. So they have an disproportionate amount of control on how you spend the money. But at the same time, they let the politicians just steal, and they still finance, and it's like a racket among themselves. Kickbacks, of course, that's happening.
Developers and foreign investors could make money from. So what began as a social plan to give people homes slowly turned into a financial project that fit the interests of big investors more than the needs of ordinary Kenyans. So ordinary Kenyans, affordable housing is not for you. And this is where the story starts to connect to the bigger global agenda, because today we gotta connect the dots. Because when the World Bank gives you money, it is not just giving you the cash. Take the cash, go and do whatever you want. They also give you that money
control
and tell you specific ways of doing things. They have a model. They want countries.
The only people they tell how to spend the money is poor countries, because we have not solidified, we have not built past depending on them to be looked down by them. How can we keep on borrowing and then we spend badly, it's corrupt, it disappears everywhere, nothing is built, and we still go back and we make the loans even bigger, the stipulations even stricter. Now you start to enter into Kenyans' pockets, because we are the ones who will pay these loans. And these Gava guys have to steal money and also pay this loan. What do you think happens? They just add, they add whatever they need to steal or they need to pay these people. It's impossible to have a solution where the people that are being taken advantage of have really either no clue or they don't have the drive to actually institute a change in that thing themselves. They're waiting for these mysterious white men and World Bank to solve the problem. It's not. There's nobody's going to help you solve the economy. The PR they give you is that it's for all nice poor people. We're going to help the poor. That's the PR. So that you let your guard down and you get shafted. You just wondering, why am I so poor? Hii pesa yangu inaisha haraka. Like, what do you think that is? Like, you're feeding this beast.
Is to follow. One that focuses on banks, mortgages, and large developers being at the center of housing.
Yes.
The problem is that model does not fit how most Kenyans live or earn. This model
There isn't enough stable, good jobs for people to put in 10, 20-year-long mortgages to pay. Because in the end, whoever is being given these homes, they'll get to a point, many people will default. What happens when you know when that happens? It happened in the West, America. That mortgage crash, the housing crash. People are wagering on loans of houses 2-3 times down. Then when it came that now to pay, there was no money. People are taking the money. Then they were bailed out because it's too big. For us here, they just take your house. The bank will take your house, then sell it to somebody who can afford it. So very few people will own a lot of these units. That's what ends up. But the big companies will now mop up all those houses. They'll clear that loan and buy it off for nothing from those banks. All those loans, they even buy those loans from those banks. So anyway, it's a process.
People have stable incomes,
Yeah.
access to loans, and the ability to pay for houses through the banking system. But the truth is, many Kenyans, and you guys know this, we survive on informal jobs. And many Kenyans don't even qualify for mortgages at all.
You can't.
So their plan might have looked good, but it also doesn't work for majority of Kenyan citizens.
It's the people who have the constant jobs that are going to be paying for this, the taxes, all this you're being told, CG, housing levy. They're the ones paying for it.
According to both the World Bank and Habitat for Humanity, Kenya needs around 250,000 new homes every year to keep up with demand. But in reality, only about 50,000 houses are built each year. That means the gap keeps growing, and today Kenya is short of more than 2 million homes. So there is a need. But this same report also shows that over 60% of people living in towns and cities stay in informal settlements.
Yes.
Because that is what
We are
they
poor.
can afford. So yes, as we said, there is a demand. The housing problem is real. But here is what doesn't add up. Even with this shortage, most Kenyans are not rushing to buy the so-called affordable houses from the government.
They can't afford
And
it.
it's not because people don't want better homes. It's because the prices and payment plans don't match what ordinary Kenyans actually earn. And nothing about these houses is affordable. Let's start there. In Nairobi alone, units under this whole affordable housing have been priced between around a mic and 3 mic. Sometimes even more. Far above
So 1 million to 3 million. That one you've cut off so many people.
what the average Kenyan earns. And since only a tiny fraction of Kenyans, less than 3% actually, have access to mortgage financing, the entire system is built on a foundation that excludes the majority. Please.
The majority can't afford it because the economy doesn't have the jobs or the output. You see that all these things is just people are able to be predatory this easily because of there is nothing going on here. So they can bring, you see, like somebody brings $10 million here, they do damage. They do proper. That's a lot of money here. They can do damage. For them, it's not that much. But they can buy a lot of houses with that and just hold and just see what happens. I don't know why, because it's not that these people are endlessly smart. Because it's normally, in my eyes, it should be that you have to create the economy to absorb your products. In this particular, because they are so large, they live with government and what. It has to be, we are putting up manufacturing of fish and canning and what in Kisumu that will absorb 3,000 people. We expect in these 3, 4, 5 markets, it will be able to supply for the next 15 years. So somebody can start planning with that. So there's a vibrant fish economy there that does everything. Then you can move elsewhere and say we are manufacturing microchips for Taiwanese company, Daewoo or something. Whatever the case may be, some tech here, some manufacturing there, some food processing, the normal. Those big industries, especially manufacturing, that absorb a lot of people, that can then now start to fund this thing with the taxes because they can afford it. That's the only way it works. But everybody wants to cut a corner. The people who've stolen, they want to dump their money in real estate. Just put the house up there. Just put it over there. It will be 30% occupied. Tashikilia pesa. You know.
Now understand, you are not the target audience.
Yes.
So, why are politicians pushing this housing agenda so
They've
hard?
been paid. They are
Because
also
to
part of
them,
the ownership.
It is more than just about homes. First, it has become a political project and a symbol of progress. When they are campaigning, they will keep singing and telling you how they've built these affordable houses that no one is buying into. But they will use that for optics, for campaign.
You see, if you fall for it, it's up to you. If they use it for campaigns and you're like, oh yeah, alifanya, that's up to you, man. For me, it's not so much trying to convince people what to do politically, because I found it to be a bit useless. Because people double down these days on the stupidity and of their actions so much that it's really just, there is the information. Hopefully, you make the right decision, because all these stupid decisions people are making are affecting all of us repeatedly, and people are so arrogant in their stupidity. It's amazing. So, as it is,
Also, you have to understand it is one of the main pillars of the Big Four agenda. And now, it's at the heart of President
how is the food security thing going? The food security up for the second one.
Ruto's administration. Every new construction site, every launch, every time he's there cutting ribbons, every time he's there talking to you guys, he knows this is proof that the government is working. And I'm telling you, wait till he starts campaigning again. He's going to talk to you about those affordable housing from here to Timbuktu. But there's another side that we really need to focus on. Hizo ni za kawaida. Now, pay attention to this. This whole affordable housing program also opens the door to new loans, foreign investment, and global recognition. So, well, it's been presented as a way to help Kenyans. It also keeps the government in good standing with international lenders and development partners. In simple terms, the housing program helps Kenya fit into the global investment system, where projects are shaped to appeal to donors and financiers, even if they don't always match what citizens truly demand. Hizi vitu zitatumiwa huko nje, they will go and write proposals and use these to get loans. And you can clearly see also how this is being financed. Every month, you are cutting housing levy from people's salaries, even though most of them will never actually qualify for a house under this program.
For me, this is the most diabolical thing the government is doing. Like, just take people's money. Just like, no, we are doing like, I am so glad I am not in that pool. Oh my goodness. Poleni. I know the pain. Oh my goodness. Because the thing is, you see, it's been done in places like here in Jamaica is pretty successful, but there has to be a certain type of politician that can be trusted with such, where they actually deliver with the resources. But, people are just crying now because they know this money is just going to people's pockets. They'll do some showy things, build 20%, 30% capacity of what they say they're going to build, and the rest of the money can.
At the same time, private developers are being given tax breaks or incentives to encourage them to join the project. And on top of that, the government is reaching out to foreign...
As far as I'm concerned, if you have a private developer, the government reaches out, make sure they give you all your money beforehand. Because the moment you decide to commit, you put your resources, you'll cry. You cannot trust this particular government, even the ones before, with your money. Let them give you the money for development yote, ingie kwa account, you do your work. Although pia developers, although the money inaingia wanasema twende. You see, that's the problem. On the both sides, things are just cooked. It doesn't matter. On this side, the money will be not be released on time. On this other side, when it's released on time, the people don't do all the work, or they do a shoddy job, or no work at all, and it's a back and forth for a decade or two, and it's a mess. It is. But a lot of this information has to be there so that even if it's kind of how do we say, a very small drop in the bucket, it is still important. The bucket will fill up, and probably before I die, we would see some change.
Investors and pension funds to buy into what they are now calling affordable housing bonds.
Yes.
So
They want to take their money. This government. I am not putting money in this government. You put, like, no way. Because
well, ordinary Kenyans are paying through deductions.
Yes.
You have big players there, both local and foreigner, who are being positioned to benefit the most from the system, a system you will never benefit from. And this is not just happening in Kenya. This is a part of a global trend all over the world.
They are leveraging the populations, the people who pay taxes to do this, because that's the most stable source of money in this world is taxes. So that's why you see they always tag a government onto it. We'll do some low-cost housing, but the government here is 25 billion, but also the government will be made to pay that. If they're paying for the next 20 years, mtalipa.
Basic human needs, we are talking about housing, healthcare, water, and even education, are slowly being turned into investment products. Ordinary people are the ones who are funding these systems through taxes, the levies or monthly payments. But the real ownership and control will stay with institutions, things like banks, private companies, or government partnerships. Everything ends up managed through contracts and long-term deals, meaning the system benefits those who finance it more than those who use it.
Now, I will leave that video there so you can go watch I watched about 10 minutes. But I have a bit of a different take on this, because I am one of those firm believers that the best way to do things is to assign it to private entities, businesses, experts. The thing, the government's whole idea is to being able to oversee that so that the customer is not taken advantage of, and to make sure that there's no illegalities that maybe make it too expensive or whatnot. That's really it. But we are dealing with a system where there's a lot of corruption on both ends of the money. The product, the investors, there's a lot of corruption, and everybody wants to take advantage of the other, as it is. But you see, when you have like a really rotten system that's just gorging out money, it's very difficult to build anything. So you'll be saddled with paying these taxes for years, but the development will be painfully slow, and they will not actually finish. That's just the way I see it. It's because we have a very rich history of things not being done by these people. That's just a fact. We know it, right? The housing issue, even I remember when Raila Odinga was trying to do something in Kibra, they are trying to, remove the slum. I had never seen people fight someone that hard to remove housing, because it was a lot of these things, you see them in place because people are making a lot of money out of it. And the change that will come will remove them from those positions where they were making money. So they fight it. They've been in government for a long time. They're bureaucrats. They are people on the ground. It's just a very rotten system from down up. The only way to do this is, of course, we are seeing how we are voting. That's fine. But we have to take as much control of the process as possible as just individuals. And this is actually when you deny the government things. This person is just walking around saying, "Oh, we'll be Singapore, we'll be this." We know it's bullshit. But we have people there who are clapping along, showing up everywhere he goes. if you really want help, like, you need to stop being so desperate. You look like you are already bought. You're running there clapping along like a seal. They know they own you. So what motivation do they have to do anything for you? That one has to change, otherwise it's bogged. There's nothing you can do. You're done for. So as far as I'm concerned, I think that the private sector, we call it private sector, should take lead. But you see, the government just plays its role of just overseeing. Everything else will work out. It is not an overnight decision. You just have to let things work out. You let people thrash it out with as little government involvement as possible, with as little as our money as the government. The government should reduce the taxes, because they keep on adding taxes, just sucking money out of poor people. Like, so it's so low value, so stupid. It's just, like, it doesn't. Why are you taxing people already poor to oblivion, just to cover your silly loans so that you can steal and do these fake ass projects? Why are you not giving the power to the people to do for themselves? Or the people need to just take the power. Like, don't give them. Next time, elections, if somebody's they are there who are not worth, you don't show up. You say, no, we don't want to do that election. Why can't you do that? The politicians understand you can't do that. That's why they do what they want. You are not willing to say, this thing has to stop, and it stops. Because a lot of people want to wait for somebody to organize a protest so everybody can shout some slogans. That's useless. That is theater. It's not action. Action is actually you people actually deciding yenyewe hizo ma shortcut tunapiga mtaani, hizo ma shortcut job na iba job. The fact that I am in this job and I don't know anything. Why am I in this job? Like, you corrupted your way in, you paid to get into a job, or you gave other services. I say that's the thing. You're not willing to do that. So sometimes it's just we speak and some people change, but majority, unfortunately, it will take something quite tremendous to happen. The level of poverty has to go astronomically high. The crime has to go astronomically high. There has to be a lot of beasts who come out of this stupidity and corruption until people catch a dab. That's the way it's always been. People get into war until after they've killed each other for months or years. It's when they decide, okay, let's start building. It's a fact. Alright? Please, I don't know what you think about this video. Leave your comment down below. And of course, a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel. And tafadhali, and you're seeing their book of catch-up tracks. We are raising 500,000 Kenya shillings for motion capture, the acting part of this movie. This is the second last part before we get into the post, put everything together. It will be released next year. So we are raising 500,000 shillings. If you feel philanthropic, there's an M-Pesa, there's a PayPal, there's Buy Me a Coffee. Yeah. Until next time.